Hi there and welcome to another lesson from Deptford Tutors. You can follow along with this lesson by visiting my blog. The information is in the description. If you just click on that now, you can get the question and also the answers on my website. Okay, so if you want to do that now, just pause the video, download the slides, and then you can follow along. Also, what you can do is rate the video, give it a nice thumbs up. You can also share it and subscribe. If you're watching it on Facebook, what I would like you to do is also give it a thumbs up and share the video. And maybe pass this video on to somebody who, really thinks they're good at maths. This is a GCSE probability question that's taken from the Edexcel spring mock paper that they released. I have adjusted the question slightly so that Edexcel don't take it down. It was the final question. I think it was taken from paper 3. Yeah, I modified it. So let's get into the question. This question, right, is a probability question. So let's read it. There are some red counters and some white counters in a bag. At the start, 8 of the counters are red. The rest of the counters are white. So already they've given us some information about what's in this bag. We know there are 8 counters that are red, but we don't know how many counters are white. Right, so just for now, I'm just going to say for white counters, I'm just going to write them as X because we don't know what they are. Okay? Alfie takes, at random, a counter from the bag. He does not put the counter back into the bag. So this is telling us here that we're dealing with probability without replacement. Alfie then takes at random another counter from the bag. Right? So there are 2 events. He takes one counter. I don't know what he does with it, but he doesn't put it back into the bag. Then he takes out another counter. Now, it says here the probability that the first counter Alfie takes is white and the second counter Alfie takes is red is 40 over 153. Work out the number of white counters in the bag at the start. Yeah? So basically what we're trying to do, which this value here of X, we don't know how many counters there are, so there are X white counters. We are trying to find out the actual value of counters that are white, that are contained within this bag. Okay, I'm just going to scroll down. What I can tell you is that these are 2 independent events that are taking place here. Right? So the first event, if I scroll back up slightly, is we take a white counter out of the bag. The second event is we take a red counter out of the bag. Right. We don't know how many white counters we have. And like I said, so we're just going to say this is X amount of counters. Okay? We know in the question that there are red counters in the bag. And we know there are 8 of them. So probability, we should know, it's always going to be a decimal or we can write it as a fraction. Yeah? So it's going to be X out of 8 red ones plus the sum of all the white ones that we don't know. So this is your first outcome. We've got white. Okay? We select a white one, which is unknown. We don't know how many there are. And it's going to be over the sum of all the white ones, which is X, plus 8 red ones. As we know, this is an independent event. We're going to be multiplying, right? So we're not adding, we're going to do times, right? Our next event is we take a red counter. How many red counters were there? There were 8. Out of the 8 that were there, that we know are red, plus the unknown value of white counters. But what happened in the question? Let's scroll back up. They said, Alfie takes at random a counter from the bag when he took out a white one. But he says here, he does not put the counter back into the bag. So we have to subtract 1 from here to show, because we don't know how many white counters are in the bag all we know is that he took out one white one and didn't put it back. So we have to account for that. I'm just going to put those in brackets, yeah? And we know that when we multiply these two events, we're going to get 40 over 153. Okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to use a little bit of algebra, and we're going to multiply the numerators and the denominators together. So let's do the numerators. 8 times x is just going to be 8x. Okay? Now, here, I'm just going to sort these ones. I'm just going to put this into brackets, plus x here, and I'm going to do 8 take away 1, which is 7, plus x underneath here. So that's going to be 8 plus x minus 1. So it's going to be 7 plus x, okay? So it's going to be 7 plus x, okay? I'm just going to equal 40 over 153. I'm just going to expand out those brackets now. Okay, I hope you're following along. So 8x at the top here. So that's going to be 56 because we're going to do this times this times this. Let's change the color. I'm going to do this times this and this times this. Okay, let's put that color. So 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times x is going to be positive 8x. X times 7 is going to be positive 7x. And x times x is going to be plus x squared. Okay? And this is going to all equal 40 over 153. What we need to do is collect the like terms. You're going to have 8x, and you're going to have x squared, it's just for neatness. And we're going to have 8 plus 7, it's going to be plus 15x plus 56 is equal to 40 over 153. Now, what we've got here, an algebraic fraction. Okay, we need to get rid of the denominators. Okay, we need to get rid of this, and we need to get rid of this. Very straightforward stuff, guys. We need to multiply both sides of the equal sign by both of the denominators. Excuse me, so let's do that now. So what I'm going to do, 8x, open brackets, 153. This means multiply, you should already know that. And I'm going to have 40, open brackets, x squared, plus 15x, plus 56, brackets, okay? So what we're going to do, we're just going to expand those brackets out now. Okay, you can work along with me. This is going to give me 1, 2, 2, 4x equals 40x squared. So 40 times 15 gives me positive 600x, and 40 times 56 is going to be positive 2240. Okay, I'm just going to rewrite this, okay, just so we're starting off with 40x. So we're going to have 40x squared plus 600x plus 2240 is equal to 1224x. Okay? Now, what we've got here is a quadratic equation. I'm going to set this equation to 0. I'm going to do that by subtracting 1224x from both sides. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm actually writing out longhand so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to subtract. I'll put it in different color. You can see. I'm going to subtract 1224x from this side. Okay, plus, let's fill that back in, is equal to 1224x subtract 1224x. Okay, that's just going to sum off to give you 0 on the right hand side. I'm going to left with 40x squared. Okay, and we're going to do 600x minus 1224x, which is going to give me minus 624x plus 2240 is equal to 0. Now, you might be thinking, what the hell's happening here? Oh, by the way, guys, yeah, you can visit my blog and you can actually get this lesson. I'll put all the answers up there if you want them, okay? And I'll give the question out if you just want to follow along with this. Right, let's continue. You need to complete the square, okay? Now, I'm going to do a separate lesson on that. So I'm assuming you already know what to do. Let's go ahead and do that now. So what we're going to do, we need to make the coefficient of x squared equal to 1. So I'm going to have to divide everything through by 40. Let's do that now. So we're going to have x squared minus 624x over 40 plus 2240 over 40 is equal to 0. Okay, this is turning into a very long question. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to halve the coefficient of x and then we're going to square it. Now, whenever you're dealing with a fraction, when completing the square, the denominator always doubles. Okay, that's when you're halving the coefficient of x, when the coefficient of x is a fraction. Okay, now what we're going to do, you're going to follow along with me. You're going to do 624 and we're going to square it in the numerator and we're going to subtract that, and that's going to be 389,376. And you're going to take the square of 80, which is 6,400. And we're going to add it to 2240 over 40, which is equal to 0. Now, what you need to do, in this part here, you've got here, you're going to work on this fraction now. This is a calculator question, guys, so I'm not doing it in my head. Right, so you need to get your calculator and work these out. Like I said, this is on the calculator paper for the higher tier paper. So let's do that now, okay? So what we've got minus 389,376 over 6,400, and we're adding that back to 2240 over 40. Okay, that has given me an answer of minus 121 over 25. Now, any of you who know how to complete the square, you will notice that these two numbers in our answer here, okay, these two here are square numbers, and that's really useful. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to scroll down again, bring this down. We've got x minus 624 over 80, all squared. Let's write that a bit clearer. Minus 121 over 25, which is equal to 0. Okay. Now, what we're trying to establish is what x is equal to, because that will tell us, okay, how many white balls or white counters are inside of that bag. So what I'm trying to do is get x on its own. So let's move the minus 121 over 25 to the other side of the equal sign. That will make it a positive. So now it's just 121 over 25. Okay? Let's take the square root of both sides now. All right? That will release the brackets from the left-hand side of the equal sign here. Okay, I know it's a bit long, but that's just how we do it here. Okay, so obviously the square root of this one here on the left-hand side is just going to give us x minus 624 over 80. The square sign has gone. We're going to have plus or minus, because remember now there's two solutions on the right-hand side. Okay, the square root of 121 is 11. The square root of 25 is 5. Right. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get x on its own by adding 624 over 80 to both sides. So we're just going to move this to the other side of the equal sign. And that's going to become 624 over 80 plus or minus 11 over 5. So you're going to have two solutions. So let's do the first solution here. Okay, let's write it up here. So you're going to have x is equal to 624 over 80 plus 11 over 5. And then underneath, I'm going to write x equals 624 over 80 minus 11 over 5. So in your calculator, just put these values in, and then we should populate a specific answer. So let's do the plus part. I'm going to 11 over 5. That gives us a nice whole number of 10. I like that. Let's do the last one here underneath. We're going to do 624 over 80 minus 11 over 5. And that gives us, obviously, 5.6. So we can discard this answer here. We don't want this one because we know there wasn't 5.6 counters in the bag. There was 10. So we're going to take the whole number value here, this one here. Yeah, I like that one. Okay. But is it actually true? Because I could be lying. I could have the wrong answer. Yeah? Let's test out and see if I'm right. Okay? I said at the beginning of the question that x was 10. So I'm going to do 10 balls. Okay, 10 white balls, because this is what we had first. This is our outcome, white. And we had 10 white balls plus 8 red ones, right? And I said if I multiply it by the next event, which is red, and how many red balls there are? 8. And I said that I took out one white ball and didn't put it back. So now there are 9 white balls, right? Okay, plus 8 red balls, which we never took out. Okay. So if I multiply these across, do I end up with the same answer of, let's go all the way to the top, 40 over 153. Let's see if that works. I'm going to put in my calculator now. Okay, 10 times 8 obviously gives me 80. Okay, so these multiplied together, I'm just going to write underneath, that's 18. Okay, and obviously that's going to be 17. Okay, let's do 18 times 17. Okay, that gives me 306. Okay, if I do 80 divided by 306, hey, it works. I get 40 over 153. So I can be certain that there were 10 balls, 10 white balls in the bag. If you think, or if you thought that this video was helpful, I want you to like the video. I want you to share the video. I'd also like you to just subscribe to it as well. If you need any private tuition, my details are in the description box. You can also visit my blog, okay, and visit my website if you need to get hold of me. Okay. I think that's it. So visit Deptford Tutors, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.